Well, hi, everybody. Welcome to the KaiNexus Continuous Improvement Podcast. I'm Mark Graben. Today, we are doing a quick preview of our next webinar. It'll be our first webinar of 2023, and it's titled Connecting Continuous Improvement to the Bottom Line. So you can register by going to kainexus.com/webinars or look for the specific registration link in the show notes. And if you hear this podcast after January 10th, you'll be able to access the recording the same way. Again, look for a link in the show notes. So really pleased that we're joined today by the presenter of that webinar. He is Nick Katko. Nick, how are you?
Thanks, Mark. Doing fine. I'm excited about doing this webinar.
Well, I'm grateful that you're willing and able to do this. My colleague Chris Burnham, it was his idea. He works with KaiNexus customers, and so he hears a lot of questions about corporate, financial literacy, and opportunities to learn more. So you were the person I thought of to reach out and join us for a session on this topic. So, maybe Nick, first off, I'm going to introduce you at the webinar, but here is a chance for you to do it in your own words. Tell us a little bit about you and your background.
Yeah, well, my area of work in the sort of the overall lean community is on lean accounting, which really primarily focuses on improving the information inside lean companies in order to measure and manage improvement and also connect improvement to the bottom line. And what I've learned over the years, and I'm a former CFO. I'm a certified public accountant. I'm a finance guy. Mm-hmm. Fortunately, I've learned a lot about lean and experienced a lot.
Yeah.
But it's sort of the traditional view. You have operations, you have finance. And finance, they do their own thing. They're focused on external reporting primarily, and then you have people that are focused on continuous improvement. And it's really important to bring both, and then you have executives. Let's look at those three groups. It's really important to have common information that each of these groups shares in order to be able to measure improvement and then also connect to what is the financial impact. Mm-hmm. What I like to say is that, continuous improvement really leads to financial improvement, mm-hmm. which is a little bit different to me than the financial results that are reported every month. And what I mean by that is it's continuous improvement is a long-term thing. Mm-hmm. Financial thinking is traditionally short-term. We do something this month, we should see the results, Well, that's not how continuous improvement works. And so you have to sort of recalibrate people's thinking, especially people that don't understand the details of continuous improvement, with numbers that show the impact. Mm-hmm. And also, they need to understand that just because you do an improvement event today doesn't mean you're going to see the financial impact this week. Mm-hmm. Financial impact may be a little bit later. Mm-hmm. But they still need to understand what was the impact of this event. So, and this is true across all industries. And again, common set of numbers, understand the actual cause-effect relationships. Mm-hmm. It's really important, I think, for people to understand that operational improvement generates the financial improvement.
Mm-hmm. Right. How would you describe the difference in that flow to the bottom line? I mean, a lot of organizations will focus on cost cutting, which is maybe thinking about the financial measure first, as opposed to what you hear, going back a long time in the Toyota literature and the lean literature, where cost is an end result. So continuous improvement and cost cutting. I wouldn't think that all those are synonyms. How would you talk about some of the differences in mindset and approach?
Yeah, lean continuous improvement will reduce costs over time.
Mm-hmm.
It's really a question of how you measure it. Okay. Again, if you're expecting to see expenses go down, you might not see that, but your expenses as a percentage of sales may go down, which is cost reduction. And this is where people have to understand what's a fixed cost, what's a variable cost. And how does continuous improvement impact those? The other thing that's missing sometimes in the analysis is, continuous improvement generally creates more time or more capacity. And if you apply that capacity to serving your customers better, there is more of a revenue and contribution margin impact than a cost impact. And actually, it's a whole lot greater. And so this is where it's important for people to understand this. And again, with the right set of information, it's possible. There's typically about 6 different outcomes financially due to continuous improvement. You could increase sales. You can decrease your variable costs, decrease your fixed costs. Hope I remember all these. You can increase capacity. You can improve performance. You can improve cash flow. Those are the 6. So if you understand there's 6 possibilities when you're looking at doing the analysis, if you sort of create standardized work and work through, does it impact this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you get a good analysis.
Yeah. And two examples come to mind. Let me bounce this off you. One might be, let's say in manufacturing, if we make process improvements that reduce defect rates and scrap, or if we make a tweak to something where we're using less raw material, like that seemed like that might be a very direct cost. We are buying less material. Variable cost, I guess, of producing, right? But then it seems like it gets a lot more tricky when, let's say with lean, we stop overproducing. And now this whole overhead allocation thing and the cost may seem higher because we've produced less. Am I remembering this?
And that's a good example of what I would say a traditional financial or accounting analysis that basically doesn't work in a continuous improvement environment. And we'll talk about that. That's a whole webinar in itself, but we'll touch on it during the webinar. One thing I really want to emphasize during the webinar is, here's things to use, but also here are some sort of traditional type analysis that they don't always work. And to be careful, you have to really be careful, because the thing about any kind of like financial analysis is most of the time people have been using them for a while. They're comfortable with them. And so it's a change of a mindset. You have to learn how to use the new analysis and understand why it's important.
Well, Nick, I'm looking forward to the webinar. I mean, here today was a quick preview of a webinar that is also in a way an introduction to a really rich topic. And I'll point people to books that Nick has written or co-authored for an even deeper dive. Those include Practicing Lean Accounting, my mistake, Practicing Lean Accounting. And the book that's now coming out, now available as a second edition, The Lean CFO, Architect of the Lean Management System. And that's an interesting subtitle to refer to the CFO
Lean Management,
architect, right?
Lean Management Accounting System.
Yeah. So I encourage people to go check out the second edition. That book was first published 9+ years ago, The Lean CFO. So we'll put links in the show notes. What's the best website for people to learn more about you and your work, Nick?
It is www.maskell, maskell.com. That's the last name of my retired colleague, Brian Maskell. And the website still works, and we just kept it.
Yeah. Well, I've met Brian before. He's a good guy, and I'm glad the work still continues through you and others. So I want to remind everyone again, please join us. Join Nick Katko, who's going to be presenting January 10th, our webinar titled Connecting Continuous Improvement to the Bottom Line. There'll be a lot of opportunity for you to ask questions along the way. So we encourage you, of course, to attend live. If you can't attend live, we'll send you the recording, but you can register again by using the link in the show notes or go to our website, www.kinexus.com/webinars. So Nick, thank you again in advance for the webinar, and thanks for doing the preview today.
All right. See you, Mark, in a few weeks. Bye-bye, everyone.